Welcome to Breaking the Fourth Wall, the most hard-hitting and unbiased opinions on the wrestling world today. I am the Razman alongside my co-host.
WWE TNA for life, and as I think it is a thing with me where when I record this show, I tend not to wear pants. So, once again, I am not wearing pants.
Oh, there you go. And we have plenty of funny anecdotes today, but before we actually get started on the show, we want to give a shout out to Brandon Skinslip, who will actually see this. He's got his internet again. He
Yes.
he's back. We're not going to talk about why he didn't have internet, but he is back and available to co-host with us. It's just he seems to currently still be on a nocturnal schedule. So Brandon, get your shifts straightened out, man, so you can come back to the show.
Yeah.
Because it's not quite as funny without you. Although we do have plenty of funny things that we think we're going to bring up today. We should make the people laugh a little bit. So let's start off as we always tend to do on non-pay-per-view weekends with our behind the curtain segment.
Yep.
And the most funny news, and this is why we talk about funny, because this is really hilarious news to me, and I think between the two of us we can joke about this for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Ryback did an interview in Abu Dhabi for, like the foreign tour. He did a video interview, and the most famous quote that came out of that interview is, "I hate the internet."
Yes. He hates the internet. It's like, good job, Ryback. We hate you as well.
Yeah, I mean, it writes itself, doesn't it? Well, there's a reason you hate the internet. Because everyone that's an internet wrestling fan with any sense at all that's not 10 years old or younger hates you.
Yep.
That's why you hate the internet. Just admit it.
It's
You
like
hate the internet because the internet tells the truth about you.
It's like we totally see what you are. You're a knockoff of Goldberg, and you're not even a good knockoff of Goldberg.
And you hate bullies, guess what? We hate you. Get off our screen.
It's like, get off our screen. Although I would take a Ryback over a Great Khali. Give me Ryback all day over the Great Khali.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. But it's like Ryback. We could go on a rant about that all day. But Ryback, he can't cut a promo because he lacks the charisma. He can cut a promo. I've seen him do it before when he was in the program with John Cena, but that was a taped promo. He can't do stuff live because he gets distracted by the crowd. If you're gonna be able to work in the WWE, you're gonna need to be cutting promos live.
Yeah.
That's the main thing that you need to know how to do and not get nervous in a live setting.
Absolutely, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean that's why they put him with Heyman to try to help him. That's why they put Axel with Heyman to
And
try to help him.
I apologize. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. I don't know if it's going to crawl back up or not. So
There you
I
go.
apologize if I sneeze.
Yep, definitely. So you want to go from the Ryback talk to the Bound for Glory card? We're going from WWE to TNA.
Well, we got one more piece of TNA news, and apparently it has crawled back up for the time being. So yay!
Yep.
We got one more piece of TNA news, but yeah, to close the Ryback thing out, I mean, it's just so funny to me because of all things for him to say, like, he could have said anything, but him saying I hate the internet is like him saying I hate reality.
Yeah.
It just really was really funny to me.
It really is. It really, really is.
Alright, so the other big piece of news, I guess, if you were to call it that, Hogan decided to re-sign with TNA because apparently WWE offered him even less money than TNA for a WWE Legends deal, and that's pretty sad when TNA is basically hinging, and they're still willing to pay more for Hulk Hogan than WWE. That's pretty sad that his career has fallen that far. that, and I looked over because my dog is barking in the background. I have no idea if it's gonna get picked up in audio. I'm praying that it's not. I have a noise canceling microphone. But anyway, it's really sad. It's a sad piece of commentary to me that you're Hulk Hogan, arguably the greatest name in the history of the sport, and a fledgling company is paying you more money than the company you helped build to try
Yeah,
and bring you in.
yeah,
It just shows that he just needs to find something else to do and stop living in the past. But at the same time, his ex-wife Linda took every cent he ever had, pretty
y-
much.
yeah.
So
Did you see the video of Hulk Hogan in a thong?
no, God no.
Yeah,
What happened with that?
he did a you know the Miley Cyrus song "Wrecking Ball."
Yeah, the one where she like everybody made a big deal about her MTV performance.
Yeah, uh, Hulk Hogan did a parody of that where he was like naked and he was in a thong, and I think it was the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, uh, aside from the Hulk Hogan sex tape, and yes, I have seen the Hulk Hogan sex tape. Nobody see that shit ever.
Yeah, and why in the world? That's all I can say is why would you torture yourself with that? You know?
Hey, I uh, am a sadist, I guess. But yeah, nobody watch it. If you have a bit of free time tonight, don't watch it. Um,
No, absolutely not. Well, I guess now that we know he's coming back, quote unquote, to TNA since he got fired off TV, what do you think his role is going to be? Do you think it's going to be like a feuding authority between him and Dixie Carter, or do you think they might change his role, like maybe he ends up on commentary or something like that?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't want to see Hulk Hogan in TNA.
I don't really want to see Hulk Hogan anywhere. And that's no slight to Hogan. I mean, anybody, I don't know how well you can see it on Google Plus, but anybody that follows me on YouTube, if you pay real close attention to my background, there is a Hulk Hogan TNA Legends figurine, which is one of my most prized possessions, because it just looks awesome. And it's one of the best moments ever with him in that robe from Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a big Hulk Hogan fan, as anybody is that grew up on professional wrestling. But the guy is just not who he used to be, and the era that he made himself in is long been gone. And it saddens me
yeah,
more than anything to see him on my TV now.
yeah. I mean, a lot of people said that Ric Flair ruined his career when he went to TNA and spit on the WWE. Uh, well, Hulk Hogan had spit on the WWE, got a shovel, hit WWE over the head with that shovel, and took a big old shit on the WWE with what he did. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, Hulk Hogan did a lot for Vince McMahon. Let's just say, if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, WWE would probably not be where it's at today. Because Hulk Hogan really carried that company. If you remember, as I was looking at WrestleMania 1 through 9 a couple of days ago while I was on a Skype call with you, and
Yes.
I was surprised that Hulk Hogan was the main event for 9 years of uh, the first 9 years of WrestleMania. And a lot of
Well,
people.
there's a reason that people. Well, I know, I'm sorry. I'm about to take the words out of your mouth because I know where you're going. Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue. Continue.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's a reason that people compare John Cena in this era to Hulk Hogan because they're literally that same guy. The WWE doesn't seem to know what to do unless one or the other was in a main event during their eras.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you notice when you were watching
Yeah.
those
And
WrestleManias.
that's funny. Ever since WrestleMania 21, John Cena been in the main event, and that's been over 9 years. WrestleMania 21, when John Cena really he got his first, a WWE undisputed title at that time, against JBL.
It's funny you should bring that up because we have more on that later. I want to speculate on some stuff, but continue.
Yeah, yeah, I know where you're going with that. Um, I think that'll be a good discussion, but
Yeah.
I think John Cena, if Hulk Hogan was in his prime and you put him in today's, territory, today's type of environment, people would get sick of him as well because they, I take it like 9 years in the main event would be pushing him down our throats.
Well, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think that Hogan would get victimized by the same era that Cena is. He would get victimized by the internet and by a lot of people, a lot of the wrestling audience that still faithfully watches it is now, sorry, I'm getting a little tongue tied, but I'm trying to say a lot of that audience is now in their
Yep.
20s, 30s, or older, and they've been watching wrestling since they were like 6.
Yep.
And so they grew up with it and they know what makes it work and what doesn't, and they are very jaded. And I
Yeah.
think those adult fans would not be able to appreciate Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I mean, if Hulk Hogan came out and was doing the whole say your prayers, eat your vitamins thing, there's no way that it would work
Now.
in this modern era of wrestling.
Yep.
There's no way.
Yeah. And I heard that this is another kind of a mini rant on the Cena haters, but
Well, I mean, we gotta bring back our individual segments. So,
I know. I just want to say that I heard someone say that Cena was the worst thing that happened to the wrestling business, and I'm not gonna say who it was, but you, sir, are an idiot. Um,
well, go ahead and go into it because that's what I was about to say. Because this is a non-pay-per-view week, we can go into our individual segments. So, go ahead and go into 4 Life Rants
it,
on the subject because I think you're on something with it.
yeah, I mean,
You know.
I say it all the time. I think Cena gets a lot of unwarranted hate, and he's not the worst thing that happened to wrestling at all. Um, Santina Marella is the worst thing that. No, I'm kidding. But I think that John Cena is the best. He's the best at what he does, and your favorite wrestlers have probably either been in only one 5-star match or have never been in a 5-star match. John Cena have been in at least 3 that I can think of. Um, John Cena and promo skills are improving. They've improved since WrestleMania 28. I think The Rock really made him step up his game in WrestleMania 28 at WrestleMania 28, and The Rock actually made him better in that aspect because he's been better on the mic ever since WrestleMania 28. And you can make the argument he should have been better before that. But I think John Cena's just good at what he does, and I'm a huge fan of John Cena. Good wrestler. 5 Moves of Doom is not true at all. I've seen him do a Frankensteiner. It's a Frankensteiner, not a Hurricane Rana. Bunch of idiot wrestling fans
Yeah,
say,
we went into that last week. We don't need to do that again.
yeah, a bunch of idiot wrestling fans trying to think that they know more than they do. But I think that the Frankensteiner was not executed perfectly, but it was a Frankensteiner, and it was executed in a way that you knew it was a Frankensteiner. So all the idiot wrestling fans who hate on John Cena because it's the quote unquote cool thing to do, uh, get a new hobby. Get a new hobby. Get a new wrestler to hate because it's really really tiresome.
And
Uh,
I thought you were done. Sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna say it's really really tiresome to uh, hear people still hate on John Cena. But go ahead.
Well, all I was gonna say because I completely agree with this, and I don't want to spend another 20 minutes on it,
Yeah.
but The thing about John Cena that people don't realize is that this character he plays is not a character. That is him as a genuine person. And if anybody doesn't believe that, they need to watch the John Cena experience. They
Yep.
need to see that documentary because that is him 24/7 being who he is.
Yep.
And the guy spends hours upon hours upon hours. He probably spent this entire time that he was injured doing nothing but make a wish work.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the kind of initiative that the guy has and how unselfish the guy is. And look at what he did for WWE. He created the whole relationship with WWE and the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Yeah, he was inspired by the NFL and the NBA
Yep.
and what they were already doing, but still, he he is the one that took the initiative and made that happen. John Cena is a genuinely good guy, and there's nobody that cares about professional wrestling more than John Cena. So,
Yeah.
if you don't like him, fine. It's just like he says, that's why wrestling fans pay to have their tickets. They're allowed to boo or cheer whoever they want.
Yep.
But just hate him as a character. Do not hate him as a person
Yeah.
because it's not justified
Yeah.
at all.
And all the people, all the, again, idiot wrestling fans who say they wish a permanent injury on John Cena,
Oh, when I heard that, I just wanted to spit fire.
yeah, that makes you an even bigger idiot because you're really going to wish, that someone permanently have their career injured just because you don't like them. That's like saying if, if I didn't like Daniel Bryan, that I wish he would get injured. All you wrestling fans would, crucify me if I said that. All the internet fans would crucify me if I said that. Because Daniel Bryan and you kind of, all you wrestling fans kind of have a double standard. I know this is more of a rant on internet fans and, Cena haters, but half of the internet fans are Cena haters. Um,
Yeah.
so, I just think you guys need to get a new hobby. And if this is my heel turn, so to speak, then so be it. Because I'm kind of talking blunt, I'm talking straight, but I think it's, stupid how you guys.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing about this podcast. I mean, that's why we do it. I mean, it's one thing to say these things to yourself in a video and publish it on YouTube, but to go back and forth with somebody who also has enough sense to be, and when Brandon's here, all three of us
Yeah,
have enough sense to be real
yeah,
as reviewers and as fans. That's what's missing in this community, and that's why we started this whole thing.
yeah,
So you don't have to apologize for that at all.
yeah,
And if I'm being quite frank about it, that's why I stopped making solo videos for the longest time. And I am going to go back to it. I've just been slightly under the weather, and I'm still not 100%. So I apologize if later on in the show, hopefully it won't happen, but later in the show you might hear like a hacking fit,
yeah,
because I've got a bunch of crap going on in my system right now. So I haven't been able to do hardly any of the solo videos that I had planned. But I love doing this with you because that's what we liked in each other, and that's what we like about Brandon. It's just real fans with real opinions. We don't create the fluff and give people what they think they need to hear. And that's why our friend Alex Delexman, that's why he is one of my favorites to watch.
yeah,
Because he always calls out any organization
yeah,
when they screw up.
yeah,
And my biggest thing in my solo segment, my rant segment today, my Razman's rants or raves, and yes, I know both of our solo segments have rants in it, but that's 9 times out of 10, that's what we end up doing, and we just didn't know what else to call it. So if you, the listeners/viewers, have any suggestions on what better names there could be for our solo segments so that they're like unique and away from each other, but it leads me perfectly into my Razman's rants or raves segment today with what Brennan was talking about John Cena, because so many people got upset when Cena was announced to return to wrestle for the world title at um,
Hell in a
Hell
Cell.
in a Cell against Del Rio.
Yeah.
Took me a minute there to figure out what pay-per-view we're on
Yeah.
for a second, but
There's so many of them. So many.
there really is. That's another rant subject for a whole other show. But I just think it's completely unfounded because people are not seeing the potential that's gonna rise here. If John Cena wins the world title, which is pretty much a foregone conclusion, like they wouldn't put him in that spot unless they were gonna give it to him. So if he wins the world title, and when Daniel Bryan finishes the Randy Orton feud and Daniel Bryan finally carries the WWE title, then when you finish the feud between those two, you have the potential to create an undisputed champion for the first time in what, like almost 10 years?
Yep. Yep. Almost.
Something like that?
Yep.
And I think it's something that desperately needs to happen, because we've talked about it on this show before about how the world title is just nothing. Nobody is invested in the world title, and they can't figure out what to do with it. So like it or not, a big name like John Cena, at the very least, it's going to open up the world title enough where they could potentially unify it with the main event WWE Championship scene.
Well, if they do that, that would be really cool because you could have John Cena walk into WrestleMania at the World Heavyweight Champion, Daniel Bryan walk in to WrestleMania at the WWE Championship,
And the winner walk out as the undisputed champion. That's what I'm saying.
And then the Royal Rumble winner, CM Punk, get put into that match. It'll be a triple threat between Cena, Punk, and Bryan.
He's still determined that Punk's going to win the Rumble. I think Punk winning the Rumble really does depend on where Cena's at. If Cena is world champion, then he either puts the world title on the line against the streak with Taker, or he doesn't face Taker at all.
Yeah.
So I think it really depends on if John Cena versus Undertaker happens at WrestleMania 30.
Well, if he puts the title on the line against Taker, the streak is ending because it's a Taker's last WrestleMania, and the streak will end.
Actually, I don't think the streak necessarily has to end in order for Taker not to be champion and force the title to be held in the bands again. I think what could happen, and this is just me going on a complete limb, but it would be a way to keep the streak alive but not make the champion look bad.
Yeah.
What about a time limit draw?
Yeah, that would be true.
I mean, I know people think it's WrestleMania, there is no time limits, but what if something happened to where it was like maybe a last man standing match, or maybe not even a last man standing match, just like a vicious double finisher somehow hit, like Cena goes for the AA and Taker counters it into Hell's Gate, so Cena's being choked out as he hits the AA, or something like that. Somehow or another, both guys are down, and the referee's got no choice but to go 1, 2, 3, and he gets all the way up to 10, and the match ends that way.
Well, that would still leave a blemish on the Undertaker streak. That would be like...
Not necessarily, because a streak is win or loss. It doesn't include a tie.
Does it not? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it could. I guess it would depend on how you look at it.
It'd be like 20 and 0 and 1.
Yeah, there would be like a 1 there with an asterisk.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's just something I thought about in order to make... Because no one really wants the streak to end. But Taker is an old school guy, and if he knows he's done, he's not going to want to go over in a match.
Oh my god.
So...
You had no idea how bad I wanted it to end last year. Like, I would...
Oh yeah, well you're the world's biggest CM Punk mark, and I am a CM Punk mark too, but I'm not that big a one.
Yeah, like, I really thought last year I was kind of delusional, I guess, but I really thought last year Punk had it. Like that
Yeah.
that match went crazy. That match had my, and that was like in the middle of just my CM Punk just crazy markness. Like I would
Well,
just
the
say,
whole world was joining you at that point because CM Punk, that's where we got the name of the show from. Is from him bringing the term relevant again in his promo in 2011. CM Punk broke the fourth wall. He told the truth, and look at what's happened to the wrestling world since. So
yeah,
CM Punk is a god from that
yeah,
perspective.
and
Because this whole angle, this whole Corporation 2.0 angle, the way they're doing it would not be able to be realistically believable had CM Punk not pulled back that curtain a little bit and told people that, yeah, Triple H and Stephanie are in real life grooming themselves to take over this place.
yep, yep. I mean, did you hear CM Punk actually wants to retire in 2015? So he wants to retire pretty young. So, and we don't see Punk do much stuff now. So I think he,
I think Punk wants to retire while he still has a decent body and he can do other things with his life because there's hardly anybody in the business that's not named Daniel Bryan that does as much physically as CM Punk does
yeah,
as far as an in-ring performer.
yeah.
So I can totally see him not wanting to end up in a wheelchair at
Yeah,
some
and
point. You know,
he got me hurting pretty bad right now. Punk is
yeah, and that's the thing, and that's got to be why he's thinking that way too.
yeah, he got like I think two blown out knees. He beginning to have a bad back. So
Well, what we'll do is we'll put a pin in this until, depending on what happens next week with the Bound for Glory, how good of a pay-per-view Bound for Glory is, and whether or not that takes the whole show up. Either in a week or 2 weeks, we'll put a pin in that and we'll talk about if Punk is truly going to retire in 2015, what storyline should he go out against.
yeah,
But
there you go.
but just to really quickly wrap up my initial thoughts here, let me get your opinion on it. Would you like to see the titles unified with John Cena and Daniel Bryan? Do you think it is a good idea? And do you think there's enough there going forward after that feud,
Yeah,
enough of a reason to have just one championship?
yeah, I think Cena Bryan needed to continue after SummerSlam, but WWE knew that John Cena was in pretty bad shape regarding his shoulder, so they couldn't do that. But I think there's enough there. I think with Daniel Bryan calling John Cena a parody of wrestling, I think John Cena can really you know go after Daniel Bryan all that on that. Although after SummerSlam, John Cena and Daniel Bryan showed mutual respect to each other. Calling somebody a parody of wrestling is, kind of harsh. So I think,
I know, but that's what made that promo work.
yeah,
Is because John Cena took it on the cheek. He knew
yeah,
where it was going.
yeah, yeah, and I like the whole thing where Daniel Bryan said in Japan, we slap each other in the face as a sign of respect and as a sign to, fire each other up and
Yeah, and
out.
then he got in Cena's face and he's like, "Well, newsflash, you're not getting slapped because you don't deserve to be slapped."
Yeah,
That promo sent chills up and down my spine.
yeah, that
It
was
really did.
yeah, that was the greatest promo since Punk and The Rock back in 2012.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, that was absolutely just a phenomenal promo. But
Yeah,
I think that the title definitely unification in time. I was gonna make a video on this today, but I just didn't because you don't really need SmackDown. Uh,
I don't
be-
think you do either. I'm starting to
yeah,
get really, really bored with SmackDown because they don't. That's the thing. That's why I think this is
it's a
so
recap.
much likely to so likely. Sorry, I said so
Yeah.
much likely. Speak English, much your ass. But I think that's why this is so likely to happen now
Yep.
because the reason that they kept the two titles around for so long is because they had such a full roster and so many guys that they wanted to give a main event push to, but didn't really know how to do it with one championship. And now I think the roster's a little thinner, and now I think the potential is there, especially with where the United States and the Intercontinental title stand. I think the potential is there now for them just to put relevance back into a mid-card level. Like create a mid-card level as a
Yep.
single scene and make it about you are Intercontinental Champion again, and that's how you become number one contender to the undisputed title.
It's like,
There doesn't need to be a world title in order to give us the next guy that's ready to be a main event player, because
yeah,
that's what the world title was and what it has been when it works, and it's not held by a guy like John Cena. It's basically the world champion says this is the next big thing. When Daniel Bryan won it, he was the next big thing. It
yeah,
took him almost 2 years to finish it, which was beyond ridiculous. Although we did get Team Hell No out of it, which was just hilarious.
yeah,
I don't care what anybody says about it.
yeah,
But they basically did do that. Where now Daniel Bryan is the main event player that he deserves to be, and it wouldn't have happened had he not had a world title reign first. And I don't think there's any reason at all why you can't just get rid of the world title, get rid of the U.S. title, and make the Intercontinental title relevant again, and have one world champion.
yeah,
There's absolutely no reason why you can't make that work.
yeah. I mean, do what TNA did. The X Division title is now your second tier title. If you win the X Division title in TNA, you are groomed to be a World Heavyweight Champion. That's what the X Division title serves as now. So I think you can do that with the Intercontinental title. Just have three titles. Just have the World Tag Team Championship, the Undisputed title, and the Intercontinental title. I think that.
Exactly, that's all you need. Well, and the Divas title too, of
Yeah, and
course.
the Divas title. Although the Divas title, even though it is on AJ, uh,
And I still think there's a big potential for the Divas division because there are so many good girls down there being
yeah.
trained right
But
now
when
by
are they?
Sarah Del
When
Rey.
are they going to be brought up? Like
Well, I think after WrestleMania season, I think that's the only way that you can make a massive shift like that. Because for whatever reason, they didn't do it this year. So I think they're going to pull something similar to what ROH has done recently with their tag team division. The way they've had their tag titles change hands like 3 or 4 or 5 different times over the course of 6 months. I think
yeah.
that's what you're going to see with the Divas title. I think you're going to see Paige and Flair's daughter and a couple of the other ones whose names are escaping me right
Sh-
now. But people,
Shaw Guerrero.
Sal Guerrero, yeah. Everybody that watches NXT knows. They know what's in the NXT women's division.
Yeah,
I think you may even see something similar to a Nexus.
yeah.
You may see like a female version of a Nexus where maybe Paige comes in and leads them all
Although
to like
I want
to like just completely destroy the current Divas division.
I
Yeah.
want I want Laya Tapa in WWE. I
Lady
like
Tapa,
yeah, Lady Tapa.
I see. Here's my problem with her. She's an awesome Kong wannabe.
Yeah, that's where I've heard that before. I was gonna bring that up. I'm like I've heard people call her an awesome Kong wannabe. I've heard
Yeah,
it.
it was me.
Yeah, I've
It's
heard it.
it's always me whenever you hear something smart. You should know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but I think she had the look. She's scary looking. She could be an awesome Kong wannabe, but I think Awesome Kong is a scary beast, and I think that look really works. And
Well, no, no, no. There's nothing wrong with it
yeah,
because that's the way you have to market her. Because that's the size that she is, that's the lineage that she comes from.
yeah,
I just personally don't see her working that way because of where she's at. She's
yeah,
in TNA, and TNA created Amazing slash Awesome Kong slash Karma.
yeah,
They created her whole vibe, whether people want to give him credit for it or not. Yeah, she was in the Indies a little bit, but no one really knew who she was till she got to TNA. And because that they're basically just rehashing the same thing. I mean, Mike Tenay literally is, because on commentary he's like, "Oh my God, look at the size of this woman. Who's gonna stop this woman? The world is, we know it has changed." I mean, he's literally saying the same overhyped crap that he said when Awesome Kong was there. Literally.
God, I hate Mike Tenay. I hate him.
Well, and that's why I brought up possibly Hogan on commentary earlier, because anything would be better than the current TNA commentary. But we don't want this whole show to be about rants. We'll pick an off week when we got absolutely nothing to say and make a whole show about rants. But
Yeah.
if we get into that rant, that's another half-hour long rant.
Oh my God, it's Mike Tenay. Oh my God, what the hell?
Yeah, but I mean, but do you see what I'm saying though about Tapa? It's nothing against her. I just think she's victimized by her look and by her size. I just don't know if it's gonna work or not.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's true. So you want to go ahead and get into the Bound for Glory card?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we do have a pay-per-view Sunday, believe it or not. TNA is still around, and they are still doing 4 pay-per-views a year, and it's their biggest one. So go figure.
Yeah, and this is their WrestleMania of...
Well, real quick, actually, you know what? Real fast, just because that's what we try to do on this show. We service every organization. Let me just comment real quickly, because I'm the one with Sinclair Broadcasting. Brennan, unfortunately, doesn't have it, so he's not able to keep up with ROH as much as he wants to.
I'm right now giving the Wrathman a new name, a new, moniker. He is our residential ROH expert.
There you go.
Yeah.
Unless Brandon's here, because Brandon knows the history a little bit too.
Yeah, there you go.
But I really like what ROH did this past week on TV, because they, rather than say, okay, you're going to get a match between Adam Cole and Michael Elgin in a rematch, or you're going to get a triple threat match between Elgin, Cole, and Briscoe, which I eventually think will happen, they postponed it by announcing a Champions versus All-Stars tag team match at Glory by Honor, and they said if any champion gets pinned or submitted, they get an automatic title shot. And I think it leaves intrigue there, because are they going to do the 3-way eventually between those 3, or does one of them, either Elgin or Briscoe, get a clean non-title victory over Adam Cole? It's very, very interesting to see what they're going to do, and they even basically, without saying it yet, threw Roderick Strong into the mix, because Roderick Strong got on the mic, and he talked about how he was there for the last 10 years, and he is Mr. ROH, and he's the most consistent performer. Basically told the truth, which pretty much puts himself back in the scene. So I see that All-Stars team right now, unless they do something different with the titles, I see the All-Star team as Elgin, Briscoe, Steen, Roderick Strong, and Jay Lethal against the champions, against Red Dragon, Matt Taven, and Adam Cole.
Yeah.
That's what I see happening, and I think it's really, really interesting what ROH did there. Like, I applaud him for it. And Michael Elgin. I'm sorry, Elgin. I'm not trying to make you, trying to slight you at all there. Just force the habit.
I don't think Michael Elgin is gonna constantly tell us how to download the WWE app.
No, I don't think he is at all. But Elgin really cut a really good promo on Jay Briscoe, and they really both sold really well how they have an uncrowned claim to Adam Cole's ROH Championship title. So ROH creative 5 stars. I mean, you got me psyched up for Glory by Honor, and it's like 5 weeks away now.
Yeah.
So 5 stars to you on that, and I highly recommend, even if you have to use other means to see ROH, watch ROH TV. Because they really are a really good organization.
Yeah, I think.
And they're really old school in the way that it's more about wrestling than about storylines. But when they put the storylines in there, they make them work.
Yeah. I honestly hope ROH gets a public TV deal, and it's not just on Sinclair Broadcasting.
Well, the problem is that Sinclair owns them. So it would be them swallowing their pride and going to a bigger network
Oh, yeah.
that wasn't theirs, is what would happen.
I didn't know that.
I would love to see them go for a time slot on Fox Sports 1.
Yeah.
I think that would be absolutely genius for them.
Okay.
But I don't know if they'll do it or not.
I did not know that.
But yeah, Sinclair literally is the majority owner of Ring of Honor now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, it's the hashtag, and it sounds cliche, but watch ROH because you need to be watching it. It's good stuff. All right, so Bound for Glory Sunday. We're gonna go over the entire card, even though there's really only 2 matches that anyone gives a crap about for the entire pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's sad. We got the pre-show, Chavo and Hernandez versus Bad Influence versus Joseph Park and Eric Young versus the Bromance. I haven't kept up with TNA.
The Bromance is Robbie E. and the guy that used to be Tara's boyfriend, Jesse Goddard, the big brother.
What kind of fucking name is the Bromance? Good God.
Because he has that stupid that Robbie has always had that stupid Jersey Shore gimmick, like bro this and bro that.
Oh my
so they turned it into a tag team.
When are they gonna get rid of that gimmick? Good God.
It's beyond ridiculous. I agree. I totally agree. And sorry for any little kids out there. We didn't realize that Brendan was gonna drop the F-bomb. Hopefully your parents didn't have to shield your ears. For you.
Yeah.
But
sorry for the F-bomb. We are not PG, unfortunately, or fortunately, we are not PG.
So. Yeah. I just pointed it out because I didn't even know if you did it. It was just funny.
Yeah, but Chavo and Hernandez are winning this, I think. Or I
think it's either them or Bad Influence.
Yeah, I do like Bad Influence. I like.
Yeah, and the winner goes on to face Storm and Gunner later in the night. So.
Yeah. And I like Storm and Gunner too. I really do. I mean, a lot of people hate Gunner, but I like Storm and Gunner.
Unless TNA really wants to do something completely out of left field, because they want to capitalize on Eric Young having that fishing show, they could put it on, or at least give this spot to Joseph Park and Eric Young. Just out of something completely out of left field.
Yeah, there you go. Then we get the.
But I agree with you. I think I'm picking Chavo and Hernandez to win. Oh, and then also the reason to watch the pre-show. There's probably even more a reason to watch the pre-show than the actual pay-per-view, which is that because you want to watch the pre-show on Spike TV at 7 on Sunday because you want to see Kurt Angle's Hall of Fame speech.
Yeah.
And induction.
That'll be excellent. That'll be really good.
So.
Then TNA have an app. Do they have an app?
They don't have an app. They have Dixie Carter's Twitter account, and they have a fitness app, but they don't have like a TNA
okay.
Impact Wrestling app, which I'm kind of surprised by that.
Can you imagine Mike Tenay hyping up the app? Oh my God! TNA has an app! Oh my God! I'm like...
British just insisting on not holding off on another rant. He really wants to go off on Mike Tenay.
Mike Tenay is just ridiculous. I mean, he can freaking...
And the joys of live broadcasting. I'm getting a phone call.
There we go.
Brennan tried to carry the crowd, and I apologize. We'll cut this out of the broadcast master, but for people watching the video, nothing I can do. I'm sorry.
Yep. Good music, though. Good music.
Yes.
We got... I'll talk while he's on the phone.
Yeah.
Bobby.
I think I'm just gonna get a voicemail. It'll be fine.
Bobby Roode, Kurt Angle, or ODB versus Gail Kim versus Brooke. as you guys know, Brooke and the Aces and Eights now. Um, I do like her in the black leather type of deal. Because Brooke Tessmacher is probably the hottest girl you'll ever see in the business. She is absolutely banging like a biscuit, is what I'm gonna say. Um,
Yeah.
but since she's in Aces and Eights, maybe she'll win the title here. I don't know. I'll have to talk to see Rat's opinion when he gets off the phone.
Um.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm just closing down my app now.
oh, okay,
But,
yeah,
um.
there you are.
I think that I'm gonna go. The Knockouts title is so weird right now because it doesn't really make much sense on ODB. But
I know.
I'm
ODB's
gonna.
winner.
I would like to see Gail Kim win it just because she's the best wrestler of all three of them.
Yeah,
So I'm just gonna say Gail Kim for the heck of it.
yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah. I picked Brooke. You picked Gail, right?
Yes.
All right. Bobby Roode versus Kurt Angle.
Definitely Angle.
Yeah, I think.
Because it's Angle's Hall of Fame night and may or may not be his last match ever
Yeah.
with his, addiction problems that he's trying to overcome.
Yep. Yep.
So
I think it will be his last match. I agree. And I pick Angle as well. Magnus versus Sting. I think.
this one is interesting.
Yeah.
This one is a little bit intriguing. I'll let you go
Yeah.
first.
I don't know. I don't know who to pick. I want to.
Here's the thing about it. Well, I'll go ahead and give my thoughts on it first. Maybe that'll get your creative juices flowing a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that what you're gonna have is one of two things because you've got the history of Sting at Bound for Glory. He's virtually undefeated at Bound for Glory. He's won the world title twice at Bound for Glory. He's a Hall of Famer. So you've got that history there. But you have Magnus trying to be the next big thing in TNA, and the way they're playing it off is Magnus is Sting, and Sting is in Flair's spot when Flair put Sting on the map. That's literally the storyline that they're playing out. So for that reason alone, I'm picking Magnus to go over.
Yeah.
But because it is Sting, and because it is Bound for Glory, it could really go either way. So I say it's a toss-up, but I say Magnus is going to win.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick Magnus as well. I like the point you made about Sting is in Flair's spot, where in WCW you had the whole Sting versus Flair feud. Flair put, like you said, Flair put Sting on the map. And,
Flair puts Sting on the map,
yep,
yeah.
and Sting's gonna do the same thing for Magnus. So I pick Magnus as well. What's the next match? Manic versus Airy versus Chris Sabin versus Hardy versus Samoa Joe. This is going to be match of the night, no doubt. But I think.
Well, maybe. I mean, let's not discount AJ Styles' ability to make anyone look amazing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
You know.
I definitely picked Jeff Hardy to win the Activation title.
See, I did for a minute, but they put Samoa Joe in the match. So now it's kind of like I'm leaning toward Joe because I haven't done anything with Joe from a singles career in forever.
Yeah, they haven't done much with him for a long time.
So I say it's either Jeff Hardy and or Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
Win.
yeah, that'll be cool. You pick Hardy or Joe, I pick Hardy. There you go. James Storm and Gunner versus either Chavo and Hernandez or Bad Influence. I think it'll be a good match no matter who's in the.
Yeah, I'm picking Storm and Gunner to retain just because they have like no direction with the tag team titles right now.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to change their
Yep.
possession.
Yep. And then we get Bully Ray versus the CM Punk of TNA, AJ Styles.
And again, you have to give TNA credit because at least they did it differently.
Yeah.
Where the boss doesn't want the wrestler there instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
But because of everything that's happening, because it is somewhat entertaining, like Daisy Carter is a good heel. Give her credit.
Great heel.
She's a great heel.
She she even playing it up on Twitter. And I'm glad she's doing it. She, taking her heel persona to her Twitter, which is very, very good.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I fully see AJ winning here. I mean, there's no other way to pay off this storyline, and the storyline does have to pay off. It can't drag on for another 5 months. It can't be another Aces and Eights thing.
Oh God, how long?
So,
How long has Aces and Eights been going on?
almost 2 years, and they're finally to the point where they're down to 3 people. And I think by the end of Bound for Glory, there won't be any Aces and Eights left. Because I really don't count Taz, because Taz is just on commentary.
Yeah.
So,
You remember when Aces and Eights first came in and they were awesome? They were like a group of like 20 to 30 members, and like they were just attacking people for no reason at all. Like
yeah,
it was really, really cool. And we talked about it when Aces and Eights started. I think they could have done something with the whole Samoa Joe getting kidnapped a few years ago.
and they should have done that, really.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, I thought that was the beginning of Aces and Eights, but yeah,
yeah.
I fully think AJ's gonna win.
Yeah, yep.
So
I
AJ
agree.
Styles is the new TNA World Champion.
Yep.
Come Sunday.
Yep, and just remember, guys, Ryback hates the internet. So
And we hate Ryback.
yeah.
And because it is a pay-per-view Monday, as we've combed it here on this show, because that's when we watch pay-per-views, because it is a pay-per-view Monday next week, recording will be slightly later because we actually have to watch Bound for Glory before we can comment on it. We
Yep.
don't read pay-per-view results, people. We watch pay-per-views.
Yep.
That's how committed we are to you.
That's how we do it. We love you guys.
Yeah. So keep that in mind, and as always, follow all our personal social media, Razman's Reality everywhere, and
WWE TNA for life.
shout out to Skin Slip everywhere. Check out the archives of this show 24/7 at geeky.com. When it's just not geeky enough, that's g3ck-e.com. And on Mixcloud under Breaking the Fourth Wall. Follow us on Twitter at BT4Wall. Send us tweets, interact with us. And don't forget, you can also call the studio numbers if you pay, or studio line, sorry, if you pay attention to when live recording is happening. That's 937-660-8571 is our studio line. And as always, this has been Breaking the Fourth Wall, the most hard-hitting and unbiased opinions on the wrestling world today.
We are out.